Hi everybody and welcome to Photomikes Garage. Today we're going to install a DC Racing Sport catback exhaust on my car. It's still icy, as you can see there's still ice. It's still kind of cold, but I can't wait. I'm going to put it on today and we'll see how easy that is. I've never done this before. It doesn't look really hard, but I'm going to go through it and we'll see how I do. So you gotta please excuse this car. It's absolutely filthy. It's been freezing weather here for 3 to 4 weeks now. I haven't been able to wash the car. You can see there's still lots of ice and snow on the ground. I know it looks terrible, but today I'm going to be installing the catback. I actually don't really know how to do that, but how hard can it be, right? Anyway, I've got a diffuser here, so I don't know if I have to remove that to get the stock catback off. We'll see. Man, I'm gonna get filthy just working on this car. But I'm pretty excited. I'm really tired of the lame exhaust sound, the stock exhaust sound, so I'm looking forward to getting something with a little bit more authority, hopefully not too loud. And yeah, DC Racing is a great company. I've got their headers on this car already. They're equal length headers. I've also got an overpipe from DC Racing. And yeah, so now I'm going to be doing the catback dual canister exhaust. See how that goes. Also, you can see my Blizzak snow tires. These have done a great job. I've got another video where I talk about that. In the snow that we recently had, these tires performed flawlessly. This car was actually very controllable in the snow. Very happy with those. This is the sound at a warmed up idle. Pretty quiet. Right now I'm just raising the car and putting on jack stands for safety, of course. Last thing you want is a car to fall on top of you while you're working on your muffler. That's not really a smart way to leave this existence. So I'm going to finish putting this up in the air and putting in more jack stands for safety. The stock muffler is it's pretty big. It's a big, fat, wide-looking monster that we're going to get rid of today. Okay, this is what's going to go on today, if I can get it done. A dual canister DC Racing Sports catback exhaust. There you go, nice and shiny. It's gonna look pretty good. Nice 4-inch tips. I can't wait to see this on the car. Okay, I've got the front connection taken off. That came off pretty easily. It's just kind of tight close to the ground here, so it's kind of tight, but Yeah, this came off. There's two spring bolts that connect this. So now the whole back end of the exhaust is now free to come off, perhaps. These are the spring bolts that I just took off. They both came off not too bad. There's a little bit of corrosion on this one. This one's in better shape. So these have to be reused as far as I know, so it's very good that they didn't break. So you don't want to break these. So I used a lot of WD-40 on everything before I tried to take these bolts apart, and I believe that did help. Also, I took off my exhaust tips. They came off not too bad, and that's just to get a little more clearance for when I gotta take the muffler, the monster muffler, off. So in theory, oh, here we go. In theory, all I gotta do is take off rubber biscuit, two more on that side, and then one right there, and this whole exhaust system should just come down. Looks pretty simple. And yeah, we'll see if that works out. So now I'm going to try and get all these. I hear that these are hard to get off of the hangers. The rubber hangers are hard to get off of here, and we're going to see if that's true. I'm going to see how tough that is. I'm going to try and lever it off. Okay, that one came off pretty easy. I'm using a pry bar, so I've got that one off at the rear on the driver's side. I've got the front one off. It came off again pretty easy. I've got one off over there, so I've got two more to go, and then the muffler should, in theory, come off. So what I'm doing is I'm just gonna pry and apply force. There you go. That one's off. One more to go, and we're done. Okay, all the rubber hangers are off. The whole muffler system just fell right down all the way to the front there. So you just got to take off the two spring bolts at the front, and then take off all the rubber hangers, and the whole heavy thing will just come right down. You got to be a little careful to make sure it doesn't fall on you. Now let's get it out of there. Oh, that's a huge muffler. It's already quite large. So there you can see the whole thing, and also it's okay. I'm gonna try and lift this up. I'm an extremely strong man, and this is heavy. So there's definitely going to be a weight savings with this new exhaust. I was just kidding about being extremely strong. But yes, this is heavy, light. Bad part, good part. Just taking a closer look at my DC Racing Sports dual canister catback exhaust, and yes, it's fairly light, so we're going to save a lot of weight right there. Also, the hanger rods are hollow. That's going to save you a little bit of weight. All the welds look really good. Nice touch. There's DC Sports etched in the top of the rear exhaust tips. which I believe these are slash cut, and about 4 inches, so that should fill this space pretty good. It's got pretty good transition for the exhaust to go back. All the flanges are very thick. Doesn't look like anything's going to bend here at all. So yeah, pretty pleased. And a nice resonator that should get rid of the drone. And everything's got a nice, it's all stainless steel with a high polish. So pretty happy with you. Okay, now this end is going to fit to the front pipe. This is your mid pipe, and this is the section that goes around the rear axle. And so I've already connected this up finger tight first, and now I'm going to slide it under the car and connect the front, and then we'll worry about the muffler after that. Okay, I've got the mid pipe installed. Everything is just finger tight. I was able to get the front bolts in. Now this piece is kind of heavy when you're maneuvering it by yourself and you don't have much clearance, but I was able to get the spring bolts in, so that's finger tight. These bolts here are both finger tight. These are all 14 millimeter, and then the axle pipe that goes under the axle here, that is on the hanger. So now it's time to mount up the muffler, make sure everything's lined up, and then tighten all the bolts. Okay, I've got the first passenger side set of hangers done. That one's in. That one's in. It's sort of hanging down on one side. Again, a little hard to do if you're just one person. If I had a second person here, they could hold up one end while I put in this end. So right now it's sort of leaning up against the bumper. Hopefully that's not going to hurt anything. And now I've got to get this side in and then connect it to that. Okay, get these down and into position. Again, I have WD-40 sprayed into all the holes to help everything go in just fine. Got a big area for the muffler. That sure is a big area. And let's see what we can do here. Using my knee to sort of hold it up a bit as I attempt to get it in the donuts. Okay, I've got all the rubber hangers on both sides. Exhaust tips look pretty good. Now I've got to connect it here and then tighten up all my other connections, and then we'll see how she looks. Got to make sure you got the gasket in there, that's for sure. Okay, everything's tightened up now. The front spring bolts are tightened up. The axle piece here, the bolts here are tightened up. The bolts to the muffler itself tightened up. All the hangers are on. It's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to wipe down these surfaces with alcohol so that takes off any of this oil that's here from the installation, so that it will keep the surface looking good as long as possible. And the tips are pretty well centered in the hole. There's lots of room between the diffuser and the tips, so they fit just fine. On both sides, they're pretty well centered. The only thing I don't like is that they don't stick out. They don't stick out as far from the body of the car as my old OEM JDM exhaust tips used to stick out. They used to stick out right about here, which I kind of liked. Also, this this exhaust tip is sticking out just slightly further than this one. It's not a big difference. Let's see what it looks like from a slightly further away. And you don't notice the exhaust pipes as much. They look really big, but the OEM or JDM exhaust pipes had a flange here, which means that made them quite noticeable. You can see how big those pipes are inside there. That is big. Okay, we'll be ready soon for the first startup. Okay, the car is filthy, really ugly looking, but the exhaust tips, they're looking good. Like I said, I just wish that they stuck out a little bit more, but that looks pretty good. And the view from underneath, wow, that's pretty impressive. Very shiny, all the way back, stainless steel. Yeah, this looks very nice indeed. And we're just about to find out what it sounds like. Okay, that's a lot louder. That is quite a bit different. So I'm going to be waking up the neighbors in the morning. I think they're going to start hating me. But yeah, I like the sound. It's fantastic, right? I'm pretty pleased with this. It's definitely louder, but it's got a deeper sound. Now, of course, I'll take a few clips when I'm driving it a little on another day, but yeah, I'm pleased so far. The fitment was really good. Everything went on easily. There's no interference with the body panels at all. Yeah, it doesn't interfere with the underside of the body, it doesn't hit anything. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased. The center mid pipe does hang down a little bit more than stock. I'm a little worried that might rub on some driveways, so that's the only concern I have right there. Otherwise, everything looks like very good fitment. Pretty happy. That's a nice mellow sound. Once the car's warmed up, the idle sound is not too loud at all. Okay, now to take it off the jack stands. Okay, so I've got the car down off of its jack stands. Still doesn't look good, but I've just made it sound a whole lot better. But the sound you're hearing right now is my Porsche. I'm just warming it up. I do this once a week just to keep the motor in good condition. It's very important for a Porsche to be run once in a while. You gotta love that flat 6 sound, eh? This exhaust, it's a little louder than I was thinking, to be honest. I like the sound, it's got a really good tone, but it's pretty loud. Listen to this. The car feels like it's faster, but I think that's just the placebo effect. It's probably not faster, but it certainly sounds a lot louder. It's gonna take a bit of getting used to. I'll keep it on the car, we'll see if I can live with it. And yeah, but so far it's definitely made a big difference. I'm pretty happy with it. Anyway, so this was another successful day at the Photomike garage. So thanks for watching, and tune in next time. Hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.